Please be seated for tonight's talk. Please sit comfortably and face in a way so you can see the teacher and make eye contact. In a moment, we'll be reciting the Gatha opening the sutra, which is on page 8 of your stapled liturgy book. Gatha, opening the sutra. The Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. That was quite a downpour we just had. So, we have come to the end of the Mulankan, the Gateless Gate. This is our last koan in the book. And thank you for everyone for being here, and most of you here for the journey of the working through the cases. Well, let's just dive in and see what we see. Our grimoire has gotten quite full. We have more pages, and we'll fill that with the Blue Cliff record. Okay? You know, I remember when I was younger and tried to read this book, and I thought it was so incomprehensible to me. What I didn't know was, as I'm saying the words, this is so incomprehensible, I will never get it, that I already had it, right? And we all already have it, right? And we have this precious opportunity to just clarify that truth for ourselves together. And this book is like our teacher and our guide. And I'm very grateful. So, case 48, Kempo's One Way. The case. A monk asked Master Kempo in all earnestness. In the sutra it says, 10 direction Bhagavats, one way to the gate of nirvana. I wonder where the way is. Kempo lifted up his stick, drew a line, and said, here it is. Later, a monk asked Unmun to give instruction about this. Unmun held up his fan and said, this fan jumps up to the heaven of the 33 devas and adheres to the nose of the deva Taishaku. When a carp in the eastern sea is struck with a stick, it rains torrents as though a tray of water is overturned. We just experienced the tray of water overturning, did we not? Mumon's commentary. One goes to the bottom of the deepest sea, heaving sand and raising dust. The other stands on the top of the highest mountain and causes white waves to billow up to the sky. On the one hand, they are gripping it tightly. On the other hand, they are letting it loose. So each of them extends a single hand, and together they support the essential principle. It is just like two running boys colliding. In this world, there will be no one who has realized the truth completely. Examining with the true eye, I find that neither of the old masters know where the way is. Before a step is taken, the goal is reached. Before the tongue is moved, the speech is finished. Though you may take the initiative point by point, you must know there is still the all-surpassing whole. Okay. I think I don't want this book to end. I realize I'm like, okay. That too is not separate from the one true way. Okay. We'll go through it point by point. A monk asked Master Kempo, so Master Kempo was a Dharma successor of Tozan, who was actually the founder of the Soto school. So we have this Soto line that we have through Jiyu Kennet. And there's some a lot of conversation that the Soto school doesn't do koans, but the Rinzai school does. And there's kind of big discussion about that. And in our temple here, we do both. We do Soto and Rinzai style. Okay, so a monk asked Kempo in all earnestness. So this earnestness is super, like, it is everything. No earnestness, no awakening. It's actually that clear. Like, and it's like the earnestness of the child sort of wiggling around in their parents' arms, right? It's that earnestness. It's that sort of trust and sort of just kind of abandon of all sense of propriety when you want the kid to be quiet. That's the earnestness that it is. And honestly, it feels so good to just go there. And it's there's so much life there, and energy, and joy, and curiosity, and excitement. You know, it totally cuts through the like, I'm an adult now of our life, right? Zen is like so about cutting through the I'm an adult now. In a sutra, it says 10 direction Bhagavats, one way to the gates of nirvana. So 10 direction Bhagavats. So Bhagavats are, there's a lot of different ways to look at the meaning of Bhagavat, but here it would, for our purposes, it means Buddhas. So 10 direction Buddhas. That would be all Buddhas throughout space and time, all of them. One way to the gate of nirvana. Before we start talking about the one way, let's just clarify nirvana. So, very shorthand, nirvana is peace, nirvana is bliss, nirvana is has everything to do with this earnestness that partakes and springs forth from nirvana. What it is the absence of I would say, negative emotions, greed, anger, ignorance, the absence of misery being able to grab a hold of you and hold you down and thrash you around, regardless of what situation you're in. So nirvana doesn't care what stage your body is in, if it's a stage of maturation, it's a stage of kind of adulthood stasis, or on the way out, right? On the way to dissolution. So this one way to the gate of nirvana. Now this one way is like so problematic, is it not? My way is the right way, right? How many people have lived and died because their religion was the right religion, or their national identity was the right, correct national identity? I mean, we go to war over this one way. So the koan is asking us to correct our understanding of what this one way is, so that we can stop doing harm to ourselves and to others. to really go directly into this direct experience of one way with all of the earnestness and all of the heart and all of that trust of a baby in their parents' arms, right? So it means this investigation of one way has to drop all the stories, all the ideas of what it means. In a sutra, it says, 10 direction Bhagavats, one way to the gate of nirvana. I wonder where the way is. Where is this? All Buddhas throughout space and time, they go one way to nirvana. Well, I've signed up to be a Buddha. Where's the way? Where is it? Please, show me. I will take it. I will venture forth. And there's something so tender about that. I just keeps rolling back to this earnestness. Where is that way? What is the way? Honestly, if we don't have that question a bit burning in our hearts, well, as I said, we should always probably be doing something else, because this is kind of hard, this particular path. So Kempo lifted up their stick and drew a line, said, here it is. And the monk, it doesn't say what the monk's response was, other than he had to go to somebody else to ask what the heck is going on. So, the monk was a little huh? When I first reread this, I thought about Dr. Strange, love, Dr. Strange. They cut a hole in the space-time continuum, and then they sort of step into another dimension. When I first thought about, here it is, but it's not like that. We already are at the space-time continuum. We don't have to step outside of anything. So this monk, who was a bit baffled, goes to ask Unman, who's another teacher at this time. And Unman is famous for saying, every day is a good day. Every day is a good day. Yes. This is a very famous Zen saying. What would it be like if we all walked around and said, hi, every day is a good day? And I know many of you are having a lot of challenges in your days, right? Many, many challenges, including myself. What is it to have every day is a good day in the midst of that, right? And there's something about knowing where this one way is that allows us to sort of joyfully walk through this day of terror and all of the things, all of the real terrible, awful things that are happening to our families and to our friends and to the planet and to the country and so forth and so on. And by the way, apparently it's always been this way, just in case you thought we were special in 2024. So Unman held up his fan and said, "This fan jumps up to the heaven of the 33 devas and adheres to the nose of the deva Taishaka. When a carp in the eastern sea is struck with a stick, it rains torrents as though a tray of water is overturned." So, what? What did you just say? Okay, this is those Zen riddles that they keep on throwing out at you, right? This is Unman's expression of the one way, right? So what about this fan jumping up to the heavens of the 33 devas and adhering to the nose of the deva? This would be Indra, so one of the high gods in Indian cosmology. Perhaps he's directly inviting us into the world of all Buddhas throughout space and time. What is that like? What is to be living in the world of all Buddhas throughout space and time? Yeah, don't think about it. Just be it. When a carp in the eastern sea is struck with a stick, it rains torrents as though a tray of water is overturned. This is the great functioning of the true one way. Luhmann's commentary. I don't want to keep us here too long. Luhmann's commentary. One goes to the bottom of the deepest sea, heaving sand and raising dust. So the bottom of the deepest sea, this refers to the absolute. This is mu. And then heaving sand and dust is the functioning that emerges from this direct encounter and unification with the absolute. The other stands on top of the highest mountain, again, and causes white waves to billow up to the sky, all the way up to the nose of Indra. So, what kind of consciousness is this? How free, how boundless. This koan is pointing us directly to the experience of all Buddhas throughout space and time, practicing the one way of nirvana. When a carp in the eastern sea is struck with a stick, it rains torrents as though a tray of water is overturned. Again, the functioning of the great one way. So the question is, what is the one way? How will you find it? how will you know it? Don't go to your mind. Trust that earnestness and that total surrender of the baby in the parent's arms. Now, I'm using that image today because we had a meeting with Bushin and Budan, and their little baby boo-boo was with them. And she was just so precious, just giving this wonderful teaching of the one true way. And so were her parents, for that matter. On the one hand, they are gripping it tightly. On the other, they are letting it loose. So each of them extends a single hand, and together they support the essential principle. One of them is giving life, expressing all phenomena arising from Mu. The other is withholding and killing off anything that would obstruct this direct realization to the Absolute. And they're playing. They're enjoying themselves like two children running into each other. Boom, right? I think we've all done that once or twice. It's super fun. Sort of the origin of worldwide wrestling. When you're older, you do, right? Yeah. And if you're not like a wrestler, you can get to go see them. In this world, there will be no one who has realized the truth completely. So, yeah. Imagine you dedicate your life to this full and complete Buddhahood, and yet you never fully accomplish it. So honestly, you just get used to it right from the beginning and don't worry about it. Right? It's very important. There is no end game. Examine with the true eye, the Dharma eye. I find that neither of the old masters knows where the way is. What? They're supposed to be so wise and they don't know where the way is? That's kind of crazy. What am I doing here? If these people don't know what it is, how am I going to know what it is? Right? So, I mean, one of the really important moments in our training is just relaxing into not knowing. We say not knowing is most intimate. So this not knowing is not the same as not experiencing. So this has to do with total intimacy beyond words and letters, outside of words and letters, pointing directly to the human heart. And isn't that lovely? Right? How could it be otherwise? Since we were all born with Buddha nature, and we're all living with Buddha nature, and dying with Buddha nature. The verse, before a step is taken, the goal is reached. Before the tongue is moved, the speech is finished. Though you may take the initiative, point by point, you must know there is still the all-surpassing hole, black hole. So all of this is actually really good news for the Zen people. So before a step is taken, the goal is reached. So we're already it. We're already here. Just have to settle down and give ourselves a chance to get to know ourselves. And again, I have to stress, it doesn't matter what chaos is befalling us in our life. Our essential nature is never stained or changed, affected at all by the chaos. Before the tongue is moved, the speech is finished. So these beautiful words that we use to share our life with one another, everything has already been communicated before we even open our mouths with each other. This one way is already present before we even start to talk about it. And isn't that great? We're just here sharing our one way, each of us in our own particularity. Though you may take the initiative point by point, so though you may be a type A person accomplishing all things at all times perfectly, you must know there is still the all-surpassing whole. So, yeah, this all-surpassing whole is considered to be a really good thing in Zen, because it is this boundless, essential, absolute that works together with the relative like two boys colliding in midair, right? Otherwise known as like two arrows meeting in midair, right? And the life and the love and the goodness are in that total union between the absolute and the relative. And this whole book has been showing us how to live a life of the union of the absolute and the relative, how to live as a whole true person of the one way, in a way that we're not causing harm and not confused about what the one true way is. You know, so as I was reading this, I was reminded of John 14:6. I am the way and the truth and the life. No one cometh to the Father except through me. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, one way. All Bhagavats travel the one way. Penetrating into that one way is not any different than penetrating into the one way of Kempo. Or the Suragama Sutra is actually where that line comes from. The Buddha, between heaven and earth, I alone am the only one true way. Right? This one true way, nothing is obstructed, nothing is left out, nothing is at odds with anything else. You know, we say perfect, complete, lacking nothing in the midst of the day that we're having. May we all realize this one true way.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight.